If you are operating in the transport and logistics sector right now, that feeling of constant pressure is probably, well, it's your daily companion, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
We are far past just, digitizing documents here and there.
Yeah, that was phase one.
We've really reached this critical point where simply keeping pace means, well, it requires a big shift, doesn't it, towards wide-scale, integrated automation across the whole organization.
It's the sheer volatility, I think.
Yeah.
That's what demands this change. I mean, think about the strain companies are under. Customer expectations for speed, for flexibility,
Hmm.
they've never been higher.
Right. And regulations keep changing.
Constantly shifting,
Yeah.
especially around environmental impact, safety. And all of this is happening while margin pressure is just brutal. You know, global supply chains, fuel costs. It's relentless.
So this conversation isn't just about finding a few shortcuts.
Not at all. It's
Yeah.
about building real operational solutions,
Mm.
things that future-proof the entire business model, really.
Okay. So our goal today is to try and give you a kind of strategic blueprint. We want to unpack this combination of technologies we call hyperautomation,
Right.
and crucially, give you concrete, quantified examples of how this approach is fundamentally changing core logistics processes, really moving this from just a concept to, well, actual capital strategy.
And the need for it, it's rooted entirely in those market forces we mentioned.
Yeah.
Maybe we should look at the, say, 5 major trends that aren't just nudging the industry.
Hmm.
They're violently reshaping it.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. Starting with the tech foundation.
Right.
Digitalization, and this goes way beyond just having computers, right?
Oh, yeah. We're talking deep integration.
Yeah.
IoT sensors, telematics, advanced data analysis, the works.
And that connectivity is essential.
It is, because it unlocks real-time monitoring. And even more importantly, predictive maintenance. Think about it. If you can monitor the health of every truck, every piece of warehouse gear in real time.
You stop fixing things after they break.
Exactly. So you move from reactive fixes, which, by the way, have huge penalty costs for delayed deliveries, to proactive servicing. That's a massive leap in efficiency, just fundamental.
Okay, and hand in hand with that tech push is the enormous pressure around sustainability. This isn't just PR talk anymore, is it?
Not even close. Governments, customers,
No.
they're demanding measurable results. Proof.
So technology becomes the engine for compliance here.
It has to be. Meeting climate goals. That needs precise route optimization algorithms, strategic planning for electrifying fleets, sophisticated tracking of alternative fuel use. You just can't afford guesswork anymore. You need extreme precision.
And then there's the stuff you can actually see changing in the warehouses and DCs, automation in physical spaces.
Right, the robots, the automated transport systems.
They seem almost necessary now just to handle the sheer volume and complexity driven by e-commerce.
Yeah, and that transformation is partly driven by the labor situation, too. These labor market issues the sector faces, persistent staff shortages, high turnover.
It's a constant headache.
It really is. And it means technology isn't about replacing people. Not really. It's a crucial support mechanism. If your existing staff are bogged down doing repetitive data entry or basic sorting.
They aren't solving the complex problem.
Exactly. The stuff that genuinely moves the needle. Which then brings us to that very visible consumer challenge.
Yeah.
The battleground of last-mile delivery.
The final hurdle.
Yeah, the pressure for speed, for flexibility, especially in dense urban areas. It means things like advanced planning software, micro-fulfillment centers, maybe even drones down the line. These are defining who wins market share now.
So if we tie all these trends back to the basic operational challenges companies face, a pattern starts to emerge, doesn't it?
It does. You've got this demand for extreme flexibility to handle regulatory shifts, market volatility running headlong into 2 huge roadblocks.
Which are?
The rigidity of existing, older, legacy IT systems, and often, let's be honest, limited in-house IT expertise to implement and integrate anything new and complex.
Okay, that's the critical point I wanted to challenge you on.
Yeah.
If companies are already struggling with rigid aging IT, isn't introducing this whole suite of complex tech, RPA, AI, all that, just adding more complexity, more risk?
That's a fair question.
How does hyperautomation actually overcome the legacy system problem rather than just, adding another layer on top?
That's really why the hyper part matters. See, traditional automation often failed because it was isolated. One tool, one task. It left the rigid legacy system untouched underneath.
Right. Patchwork solution.
Exactly. Hyperautomation, by definition, is the strategic combination of tools. The goal is to automate end-to-end processes across those rigid systems. It's about orchestrating them.
Okay, so what does that combination actually look like in practice? What are the key pieces?
Well, think of it like a stack. At the base, you absolutely need robotic process automation, RPA. That's the essential bridge. RPA acts like a digital worker. It interacts directly with the user interfaces of those stubborn legacy systems, inputting data, extracting data, just like a human would, but obviously at machine speed and consistency.
Okay, so that keeps the old systems running but connects them to the new intelligence layer.
Precisely. And that intelligence layer on top, that's where document understanding and various forms of artificial intelligence come in.
AI meeting.
We're talking specifically about combining things like generative AI, which can create content or summarize data, with what's called agentic AI.
Agentic AI.
Yeah, agentic AI is more like the decision maker in the process. It takes inputs, say from the RPA, uses analysis perhaps from generative AI, and then manages complex multi-step workflows pretty much autonomously.
Yeah.
It figures out where data needs to go, what step happens next. It's moving beyond just simple task execution to actual autonomous process management.
Right. Let's try and ground this in the immediate office environment, where people are working right now. Where does the stack offer immediate help for, say, the administrative teams?
Oh, the low-hanging fruit is everywhere you find high-volume, repetitive data handling. RPA just excels at automating tasks like generating routine reports, basic fact-checking across different systems, endless data entry,
Stuff that drives people crazy.
and takes up so much time. This immediately increases speed and, crucially, cuts down on those common data entry errors that can snowball into major operational problems down the line.
Okay, and the higher value support, maybe on the customer side, the service desk seems like a prime candidate.
Absolutely. We're seeing AI chatbots handling the automatic answering for a huge chunk of frequent routine customer questions. That frees up human staff immediately,
But it goes deeper than just FAQs, right?
much deeper. Advanced tools can now automatically analyze incoming customer tickets, emails, web forms, whatever. They classify the issue based on the actual content, like damage, freight versus billing question, and then assign that ticket to the correct specialist department instantly.
That acceleration in response time must be critical for customer satisfaction.
It's huge. Okay, so let's move from the purely admin tasks now to the processes that really define logistics. The high-impact stuff that moves freight and handles the money.
Where do we start?
The classic example, really, where this combination of tech is almost indispensable, is automatic invoice processing. Manually, this is just a massive administrative bottleneck, and a cash flow bottleneck, too.
So how does hyperautomation tackle that?
You use document understanding technology, think UiPath, document understanding, or similar tools. It automatically scans incoming invoices, doesn't matter the format, PDF, a photo, even physical paper sometimes.
He reads them.
It recognizes the necessary data fields, invoice number, amount, vendor details. Then, you use RPA to push that validated data directly into the ERP or the accounting system. No human hands touch it for basic entry. It's an end-to-end loop.
Okay, that makes sense for invoices. Now, on the operational side, what about planning and route optimization? That must involve blending data from dozens of different systems.
Oh, absolutely. GPS, weather forecasts, road closures, regulatory restrictions, driver hours, customer delivery windows. It's a complex mix.
So how does AI handle that?
You use AI algorithms to process all that blended data and generate optimized routes. But crucially, the system doesn't just spit out a plan and walk away. It provides real-time support to human planners.
So if something changes, a roadblock, a compliance issue,
The system can instantaneously recalculate the best available alternative route. That saves precious time, obviously, but also significant fuel costs.
you mentioned regulatory complexity earlier. That's a constant headache, right? So how does this integrated stack help with ongoing compliance monitoring?
This is actually a major strategic advantage. Compliance isn't static. Local, national, international rules around safety, environment, labor, they change all that.
Keeping track must be a nightmare.
It can be, but using orchestration software, the system monitors processes in real time against potentially thousands of these shifting rules. If a process deviates, even slightly,
It flags it.
it flags it immediately and can even automatically generate the required documentation for regulatory adherence. This shifts compliance from being a reactive, painful auditing chore to something much more proactive. Prevention, really.
I think the sleeper hit application here, one that cuts across all these areas, is the ability to finally make sense of that vast sea of unstructured data companies generate. Emails, customer notes, social media comments.
Yes, that's where the power of AI's natural language processing, or NLP, really shines. An intelligent agent can analyze huge volumes of text data from service emails, feedback surveys, whatever.
And find patterns.
Exactly. It moves way past simple sentiment tracking happy or sad customers. It can identify systemic operational issues, things like a recurring problem with customs clearance for a certain type of container, or a specific pattern of delivery failures in one region. Things a human analyst might never spot buried in millions of data points.
And that translates directly into actionable business improvements. Okay, seeing the applications is compelling. But for anyone listening who needs to build a business case, the numbers are the final proof. Let's look at the quantifiable results, the so what.
Right, the bottom line. And the industry data here is pretty consistent and, frankly, compelling. Companies that strategically implement these integrated digital technologies across their logistics processes, they're reporting average total cost savings somewhere between 15% and 30%.
15 to 30% overall. That's significant.
It really is. And if we look specifically at those administrative tasks like invoice processing, order entry,
Yeah.
you can expect time savings of up to 40%.
40% less time spent on admin. Okay, let's make that tangible. Take that crucial area, invoice processing automation. We saw one large European logistics provider get their automation rate up to 95%.
Which is staggering,
Yeah.
yes. But I think the quality improvement is even more significant. Their manual error rate, it dropped from 5% down to just 0.5%, half a percent.
Wow. Think about the downstream effects of that.
Exactly, the compounding effect of getting it right first time. It cuts processing time from, say, 3 days down to mere hours. And that resulted in a 25% saving on their administrative overhead. But maybe more importantly, that quality jump accelerates revenue recognition and drastically cuts the risk and cost tied to auditing failures later.
Okay, so the efficiency gain in admin is crystal clear, but the impact on physical operations, the data from AI-driven route optimization looks powerful too.
It absolutely is.
Hmm.
There was a Dutch transport company. They implemented sophisticated AI algorithms for their planning.
And the result?
An average 12% fuel saving. 12%. In
Yeah.
this market, that's a massive saving on operational expenditure. It directly addresses that volatility we talked about earlier,
And tied to that fuel saving was an 18% improvement in delivery reliability.
which just shows, doesn't it? Efficiency and sustainability, they really are two sides of the same coin when you leverage automation intelligently.
Okay, one more area, customer service.
Right. An international logistics operator used that combined power of AI chatbots and RPA. They classified and instantly answered routine service tickets.
And the impact.
They boosted their service desk efficiency by 35%. 35% more effective. And here's the often overlooked benefit. Employee satisfaction actually increased.
Because they weren't doing the boring stuff.
Exactly. The technology filtered out the mundane, repetitive queries. It allowed the staff to focus entirely on the complex, more rewarding customer interactions. That reduction in just, grunt work is vital for keeping good people.
Okay, so just to summarize the strategic targets for anyone listening. If you target invoice processing, you should realistically expect cost savings in the 20% to 30% range.
Yep, that's a solid benchmark.
And if you focus on customer service functions, the data suggests around a 35% time efficiency gain is achievable.
Typically, yes.
These are substantial documented returns. They definitely justify looking hard at the investment.
So I think we've established that the strategic combination of these technologies, RPA, AI, document understanding, it's now pretty fundamental, isn't it? For building flexibility, for building resilience against these volatile market challenges.
The data seems to confirm it's no longer really optional.
Right. But, and this is the crucial takeaway, I think,
Yeah.
the thing that really determines success or failure here, it isn't about the specific software you license, whether it's UiPath or Azure or N8N or something else.
It's about organizational readiness.
It is. The biggest potential block to hyperautomation succeeding is often the organization itself. Companies have to be willing to fundamentally change their way of working,
Oh,
to really support continuous process improvement, to push for full end-to-end integration, not just pockets of automation. The technology provides the capabilities, sure, but the business needs to adopt a mindset of constant optimization to actually reap those profound benefits we saw in the case studies.
that really is the shift, isn't it? So if technology can automate, say, 95% of your administrative workload and simultaneously increase the quality, here's maybe the provocative thought for you to explore. What percentage of your current workforce's time is now genuinely free?
Free to focus on what?
Free to focus entirely on strengthening customer relationships, on analyzing new market opportunities, on strategizing the future of the business. That redirection of human talent, that's the ultimate promise of hyperautomation, wouldn't you say?
Okay, so here's a final thought then. If automation really can free up, say, 30% to 40% of admin staff's time from routine tasks, what's the next big non-repetitive challenge those employees should tackle? To really build that long-term market resilience for the company.
That's the million-dollar question for leadership, isn't it? What new value can that freed up capacity create?
Something to think about. Well, thank you for joining us for this exploration of hyperautomation in the logistics sector.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in and taking this look at the topic with us.